Hey you, I have a special episode for you. If you are a strong woman leader and you're looking for some motivation, some ambition to get your day started, grab your coffee, get your makeup ready, or if you're driving to work, I need you to listen up. I sit down with Emily Schmidt. She is the founder of Cracked Pot, and she has a wonderful nonprofit organization that helps young adults who are aging out of the foster care and adoption system. So if you're motivated, at the end, we're going to ask for a couple dollars, and I know you got it. So stay tuned, stay encouraged, and I look forward to seeing you in the comments. Today's roast, let's stop the mom guilt, okay? Let's stop it right now. You want to know why? This mostly happens to women that are in leadership positions and they have children that are they feel as though they're not raising them properly because they're not spending enough time. I know because I've been there. And you know what? There was actually a conversation that I had with someone just recently about this one thing. And did you know what we found out? That the time that you spend with your children is statistically higher than the time spent with moms at home. You want to know why? Because you give that much valuable time and attention to them when you have it available. So stop with the mom guilt. Today's the day that we do not allow ourselves to be sucked in to feeling guilty for being the darn woman that you are, okay? Now, I have the special privilege of sitting down with Emily, who we were talking about just before we started this recording, that same thing. It's a thing. Isn't it a thing?
It's a thing. It is.
Yeah. How do you struggle with it?
I mean, I think I have struggled with it. I think I've gotten better at it. I think I've learned how to prioritize things, but I think you are constantly kind of wrestling in your mind about that. You know, your kids obviously are your priority. But for me, for example, it's ministry work. You're called into this other space to serve and to be present. It really can be a challenge sometimes. And so I think that, I've wrestled with it, but I've also seen the opportunities to be an example to my kids. I never want my kids to think that the world revolves around them. Right. And I think sometimes in our society today that parents feel the need to make the kids the center of their universe. And I think that there's something healthy about allowing the kids to see you working hard and having your own purpose. And in the ministry and the work that I do is getting the kids kind of to have a front row seat to serving other people, right, and it being about other people. So I think it's something you have to be aware of. You do, because you need to be present with your kids. These years are very short, and you don't want to look back and have regrets. Right. But I think there's plenty of opportunities to prioritize things and bring them along and make them a part of your life without them being in the center of it.
100%. Because I think I know when I was growing up, when my children were growing up, I felt that too. And I'll never forget, I shared with another episode that one day one of my daughters happened to say, "Mom, you know what? You are the best mom. I'm so grateful that God had blessed me to be your mother." And it was in that moment I was like, oh my gosh, all this time I've been feeling like I didn't spend enough time with them. But no, it was the memorable moments. It was being there when they needed me, having those conversations, making sure we had dinner together, making sure, I was there answering all their questions. When they came home from school, because their job was flexible, that's what made it the difference. So yeah. Dirty Dog Hauling, thank you so much for your sponsorship. If you're looking for a junk removal company, they are the go-to company. Whether you have a small job or a large job, and even excavation, you want to check them out. They are reasonable and also timely and effective. Dirty Dog Hauling. Now back to the show.
I feel like something that I had to learn a few years into it was not being too hard on myself for just the boundaries. But what I did is I just created some simple rules for myself that I was going to follow. So like one of them is, 4 days out of the week, I am making dinner and we are sitting down as a family. So it's like I kind of look at a calendar and I'm like, these are the 4 days. Now baseball season this year has kind of thrown that way off because it's a lot of Chick-fil-A, after the baseball games, the rain delays and all the things. But I feel like when you can kind of set those rules and really zero in on the things that are important to your kids and as a family, the things that are important, I feel like I was way more successful at setting those rules. Or if it was, hey, I'm gonna spend 30 minutes before bed with each one of my kids, or be at home when they come home, or once a week make chocolate chip cookies, or whatever that looks like. I think that sometimes those are the easier things to follow. It's just a couple of rules to be present.
I agree, Emily. So, owner of the Crackpot, nonprofit, had the privilege of actually meeting you through Sydney. Like I would go there, right? But actually getting the privilege of meeting you, sitting down with you and just learning everything about it. So I was like, yeah, we definitely have to have a conversation to shed light on actually what you do. So just share with the world the amazing work that you're doing here.
So we are a coffee shop. It's the Crackpot Coffee Shop. And so it is indeed a coffee shop. We have coffee.
Yes.
Right? We do. Right. I am automatically your friend. We serve coffee, but we have all the, breakfast and the brunch and the lunch and the pastries and all that. But behind all of that, the heart of what we do is to work with young adults that are aging out of the foster care system.
Yeah.
So the beauty of all of it is that the coffee shop gives work opportunity for these young adults that we're working with. But really the cool thing is seeing the community and the sense of belonging for these young adults that we work with that just have this amazing community that gives them a big old hug while they're going through our program. And so it's been a really beautiful thing to see it all come together in the way that it has.
How in the world did you end up with this? I'm just going to call it a ministry because it has to be God ordained for you to do something like this. Because most people would miss the children that are transitioning from the adoption center or foster care into world life, right? So how did you get into this position to want to help them, that population?
Sometimes I ask myself that.
Yeah.
How in the world how did I get here?
Yeah.
It is all God. It is a ministry and it is God ordained, first and foremost. I was born very close to where the first Crackpot location is. Grew up in that town and have been in the restaurant industry since I was about 12. And when I was about 12, I decided I had a dream to have a coffee shop one day. And so I didn't think that would ever happen, but I certainly paid attention to coffee shops. The whole rest of my life, I would go in, I would gravitate to coffee shops. I wanted to see what they look like and how they were different. And I go into coffee shops and I just kind of like pause and my eyes go bonkers. Because I take it in and I love this and you look at this. And the thing I noticed about coffee shops was they're all so different. You don't go into, yes, you
they
really
don't.
Yes. And they do. And some, which is so cool, but they're all the same. There's this same common thread at every coffee shop.
Which is?
Brings people together. It's bringing people together around usually a cup of, something. It's coming together. It's community.
Yeah.
And so I think I've always loved coffee shops because it's just this visual of community. And sometimes it's meetings. And I love that because even in our shops, if you're there, you see somebody having a meeting and you see a bunch of women giggling in the corner and you see kids with their moms playing in the kids area. It's just this beautiful picture of a community coming together at our locations. And so I always loved that. I always loved coffee shops. I always have had a heart for serving. That was something that I feel like the Lord gave to me at a very young age. I just always see the need to, hey, can I get you something? I've always had that in me.
Yeah.
And then the idea of the foster care piece of things, that was something that my husband and I had talked about early in our marriage about being open to foster care, fostering, adopting maybe one day. And I didn't think they went together. I had always looked at them as two separate, if we foster and adopt, maybe we would do that while our kids are young. And then maybe once we move south and we're retired, we do a bed and breakfast or a coffee shop or something. And again, that was always a dream.
Yeah.
And so it started to become a reality
because
I stumbled across the first location. And it was like, I feel like God kind of reignited that desire to have a coffee shop at the same time we were working through fostering or adopting. And so these two things started really becoming something. It wasn't until we went through the process of looking into foster care where I really noticed the age of young adults that never get adopted.
I had to take 2 seconds to thank Allstate Insurance for sponsoring this episode. If you're looking for car, life, or casualty insurance, they're going to be your ultimate insurance company. Thank you, Rob Shaw with Allstate Insurance. Now, back to the show.
And when I noticed that and I realized these kids, these young adults, were just slipping through the cracks and were kind of sent out into the world to do what, people with parents struggled to do, that are consistently there for them. It was like, this is who we need to help. And then it just kind of all came together.
Yeah, I was sharing with my friend right before this recording. She was like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, hey, I'm about to interview some dynamic people today. And she was like, well, who are you interviewing? And I shared you and then a little bit of your story. She's like, you know what? That's the population that seems to always be missed. We don't hear enough about, the people that are aging out of foster care or adoption centers. And so she's like, I cannot wait to hear it. So, yeah, you just know you have a cheerleader.
Well, good.
Yeah, you have a cheerleader because, I think a lot of people need to know that, hey, that we need, if you're looking to, bring someone into your home, sure, there's natural birth, right? Between the husband and the wife or, whatever the demographic is or how it looks, your family looks. I think it's important to know that there's other options out there for people, and adoption or foster care may be that option. And I think I was sharing with you, I hope we can get the percentage of people that are, that are aging out of these facilities or this, the programs, because I know there's probably a lot. There has to be a lot more than we would tend to think, I think.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, I didn't realize until I got into it just how alone sometimes they are or how much it is on them to initiate that help and those extra resources. But if you don't know how to do that, if that's overwhelming, sometimes it's like, well, I'm just not gonna do it. I think sometimes a lot of young adults, they're brought up in a system, and sometimes they're consistently in different placements. So nothing's consistent for them. It's, one year they're here and they move so much throughout their lives that there's not a consistency in who it is that's helping them. Like my parents, my parents weren't perfect. We had our tough things in our family, but they were consistently my parents my whole life, and their rules were the same consistently through my life. And the way that they handled finances were consistently the same and taught me to do things. And so I think this population they're just in survival mode. They're just trying to figure out who and what is next. And so, unfortunately, when it comes time that they turn 18, they can sign themselves out of foster care. And oftentimes they do because they're just sick of it. They're sick of constantly, moving to the next place. And then you've got all the trauma. You've got all the stuff that happened to them that they're also working through, which sometimes, that there's a lot of anger that goes with that. There's a lot of confusion that goes with what they've been through. And so they're dealing with that, and they're also trying to navigate an adult life that they haven't had anyone consistently there.
They haven't had a role model. Yeah. Right. So the consistency is the inconsistency.
Correct. And so then the things that are right and healthy are very uncomfortable. We had somebody once it was a mentor, took one of our kids to Thanksgiving dinner. And that kid kind of went back in a corner and just was so uncomfortable. And this person was like, anything that they could have wanted was there. Everything, we had this beautiful spread and, all the, think about a beautiful Thanksgiving table. How uncomfortable would that be if you're used to not eating Thanksgiving dinner at a table? There's usually alcohol, there's usually writing, there's usually and maybe you have a frozen TV dinner on a TV tray or something like that. And it's just although this is healthy, although this is something we do, it's not normal, it's not their normal. And so It's really meeting them where they're at and trying to help them, navigate through and retrain and reprogram, help their brains understand what is healthy and what's good and right for them. And that involves a whole team of people to do that.
So what does that look like? What's the number of people? Like, what's capacity for you? Like, what's your goal as far as how many children, or I should say adults, right, that aged out of the facilities? What's that number look like consistently? Do you see yourself having to host or to help or to support?
So because we do so much more than just housing or just feeding meals to people, we really do enter their lives with them and do a lot of it, all of it with them. We really walk it out with them. We just helped one of our young ladies move into an apartment. We're so pumped for her. But I was there all day Saturday scrubbing the apartment and scrubbing the kitchen floor and getting things ready, for them. Just helping them physically move things into an apartment. So we're really different in that way where we're walking it out with them.
Yeah.
And so we shoot for 4 to 5 young adults that we're working with at one time.
Well,
and that's mainly because it's me and then a team of people that I work with, volunteers and other professionals and things like that we work together. But it's usually me in the day-to-day. But we're at a place right now where we really want to try to multiply the amount of young adults we're working with and bring more people onto the team, have more life coaches and people that are helping them case manage the young adults that we have. So we're really hoping that we can, get some more financial assistance and that kind of thing so that we're able to hire people. Because most people don't want to do 40 hours of case management and scrubbing apartments and all the things without getting paid. So we're working on that. And if we can get that in place, then I would love to see us be able to double the amount of youth that we work with, hopefully in the next year. Yeah.
So you're considered a life coach?
That's what's always funny is I go out with these guys or, you're doing stuff with them and people are like, oh, what is your role?
Yeah.
And you really kind of become like a parent to them, and so a lot of them, you become.
They're not necessarily, that is a life coach.
Really kind of what it comes down to. Yeah. And a lot of them are like, hey, I didn't know who to put down as my emergency contact. Is it okay I put you down? And I'm like, absolutely. So you really become that adult person, that person in their life that is kind of like a guardian, kind of like a life coach. I say life coach, mentor. Is kind of, what we become. I think that's the easiest way for me to explain it to people so that they understand what it is that we do. So we're life coaches and mentors to these guys. And
So what is it that brings you the most joy to the nonprofit?
There's a lot of things that bring joy. I would say that it's seeing them at peace and happy, happy and at peace. I think that there's and seeing their self-confidence, seeing them feel confident in themselves, whether it be a simple task that they do. Some of them don't even know how to make a phone call, to set up an appointment.
What do you mean?
Just like calling the doctor to set up an appointment, right? Okay. Like it's like awkward because they've never done it. There's always been someone to make their appointments for them. And so you have a 20, 22, 23-year-old person that's like, doesn't call the doctor. Like, why aren't you calling the doctor? Can you do it? And so, no, but I'm going to sit here with you and you can do it. And we're going to get through this. So something as simple as that. To see them hang up that phone and be like, I did it. Like, I just made a phone call. I just made my own appointment. And you're like, we celebrate the little things big.
Yeah.
But then there's big things
we
like
take for granted.
That like, again, your parents just taught you how to do, or you heard your parents doing that,
right? And
then you knew what to say. So there's little things like that, but then there's big things like you got your own, like this is your first apartment, this is your first, or you just got your driver's license, or there's things like that are huge. I think that that's what brings me the most joy is seeing them overcome things, get to places where they didn't think they would be, and see the confidence and the joy and the peace that comes with, like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And seeing them have the ability to stop those generational cycles of abuse and neglect and all those things they were born into. And like, when they realize that, like, I'm going to be a better mom than what my mom was, or I'm going to be a better dad, like, I'm going to be better, and then believe it and be on a better path already than what their parents were. I mean, that's amazing.
I had to take 2 seconds to interrupt this episode. I would like to thank one of our most recent guests, Attorney Jenny Chavis, for sponsoring this show. Chavis Law Firm is an elite law firm in Central Pennsylvania that helps with estate planning, as well as understanding what type of business entity you should enter into when starting your business. If you're looking for a great attorney that understands estate planning as well as business entity, how to start the right way, you want to check out Attorney Chavis, Chavis Law Firm. Now, back to the show. Yeah, I think that would just be like so exciting to see, rewarding to see that, okay, they'll make a difference for whoever, they're going to bring into their lives. Sure. Whether it's a blended family or not, because they actually had support from, the correct pot. So that's huge.
Yeah.
That is really huge. I appreciate that. So then your children, when they see you doing this mission, do they get excited, or they're like, hey, that's my mom? You struggle with a little of both of that, So no, that's my mom.
I mean, I think my kids, my kids are getting older and they've seen this. I think my kids love the crackpot kids. I mean, there's some kids that are like older siblings to my kids, my biological kids. It's great. Like it's really neat to see that. And my kids sometimes are the biggest cheerleaders, and they don't see all of what happens.
Okay.
They're in it, involved in it enough to see maybe some of the things, some of the consequences, some of the boundaries, some of the things that I have to do with one of the young adults because they're not doing what they need to be doing, or they're not as committed as what they need to be. And they're tough on me, honestly. They're like, Mom, you're being too hard on them. Why are they, and I'm like, honey, you don't know all the details.
Right.
Or they'll want to ask questions about, like, well, why is he not here anymore? Or why, like, cause sometimes, our kids in the program, they'll take off,
Sure.
It's a lot of back and forth, coming and going with the kids. So they'll like, what happened with it? And I'm like, I can't share that with you. But I share enough with them that they know what's going on. And I think that they really enjoy the ones that they get close with and that they have, opportunities. I mean, my kids give them hugs and, are cheering them on and all that kind of thing. So I think that they enjoy it. They see the value in it. We talk very openly about just the effects that what they've been through has. And I try to share that with them when they're in school. Like, you have no idea what people are going through at home, and school might be the safe place for them. So if I ever find out that you're making fun of people, or that, it's like one of those, because I'm like, don't you dare. You have no idea what people are going through.
Yeah, because if you're in foster care or the adoption centers, they have to go to school.
Sure.
Yeah, so you don't know. That is such a good point.
Yeah.
That is
and sometimes they're not even in foster care, but they have a whole lot they're going through at home that no one has seen yet. They're going back home to abuse. I mean, some of our kids, they don't even go into foster care until they're, 17 years old, until someone finally, notices something or they speak up about something.
Right.
So, it's tough, but I just try to tell them, like, you don't know what people are going through.
Right.
What trials they have. So just be kind to people and,
What would you say your succession rate is as far as, seeing these children acclimate properly to normal, I guess, a normal life? Like, what would you say your success rate is?
We have been up and running for 8 years now.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. So our first location opened up over 8 years ago now. And, we've had about 25 for young adults that we've been able to work with.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and I think anyone in this line of work that's working with this group of young adults, you don't have as great of a success rate as maybe what people would want to see. Everyone wants happy endings. Everybody wants to see, somebody come into a program and do it and finish and be great. A lot of what we do is there's this pattern of young adults come into our program. Let's say they come in at 18, 18 to 25 is who we serve. So they come in at 18 and they have never been on their own. Yeah. And things have always just been done for them because they've been in, foster care. And so now you're asking this adult, and maybe they haven't worked through the trauma. So now you're asking this adult to start showing up, talking in a respectful way, and putting forth effort and doing what they need to do. And so that's a lot. It's hard. It's hard. All of a sudden now you are kind of that accountability person, this coach, this accountability person that's like, like I say to these guys, you can look at somebody who's bulked up and has muscles and you want those muscles. You want to look like that guy. Right? Well, don't we all? Right? There's a lot of hard work and dedication and discipline and going to bed early so that you can get up early. There's a lot of that happens. So,
well, how do you teach someone, Emily, that doesn't know this? That's huge.
It is. And it's exhausting.
It is
because it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of trying to help them understand the benefits of it. And I'll share with my one guy who's been with me for over 8 years now, because I know he will not mind at all. I mean, he started with us when he was like 18 years old, and he was so hard to work with because he was so set that this is what he wanted to do and this is what he was going to do and no one was going to stop him and blah, blah, blah. And now if he were sitting here, he would be like, it was crazy for me to be that stubborn and that kind of thing. So there's a level of maturity that's just natural with anyone, even if they're not in foster care at those ages.
Well, 18, for a boy. Yes. They don't mature until what, 27?
Right.
So,
or do they?
Right. I'm looking at my husband.
No, so I think that there's just that natural understanding of the maturity.
Yeah.
But then on top of it, you get the trauma.
Yeah.
And then things have been so inconsistent. So it really is a tough thing that we do. But we see this pattern of if they're serious, if they want to put forth the work and the effort to do it, it might be a hard first round. Like the first time, there's this honeymoon period and everyone comes in and, oh, it's so great and it's a coffee shop and, oh, it's so fun. Everyone's new and everyone's giving them things and it's all about them.
Right.
And then we start talking about money and budgeting. And we start talking about, hey, if you want money, if you want the apartment, then you got to save your money. And in order to get money, you got to go to bed on time so that you can get up and get to work. Like there's all of these pieces.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
And sometimes they don't like that. And they I don't want to do this. It's too hard. Or you're pushing me. You get that sometimes from you're pushing me too hard. But if we don't push a little, then we're not doing our job.
Right.
And then, so it's a lot of that. It's a lot of this dance we do with them. And, they'll sometimes leave and then they'll come back. Right. And so I would say, there's probably I would say given the 8 years, I would say there's probably like a 25, 30%, success rate where they finish the program and they're, they're in their own apartment and they have the car and they're independent and confidently moving forward. However, that being said, there's a lot of them that are in that in-between period right now too, where they've left and they may be coming back, in a few months or years or whatever. So they have from 18 to 25 to utilize the services that we provide. And so we've seen over the years that there's a lot of that where they'll be with us for 2 years and it's a lot of back and forth and then they leave and then they come back and they're like, I'm ready to do it this time.
Yeah.
So we just try to stay consistent in their lives. We try to, even if
they're not. Which is huge compared to what
Yes.
they've been through. So
Right. And even if they do leave our program, even if they say, I don't want to do this, this is too hard, you're pushing too hard, we still reach out to them even after that and include them in the things that we're doing. We have a group that meets. It's like a social group for young adults that are coming out of foster care. So they're always invited to that.
Good.
They're always invited to our Christmas parties. They're always invited to we do like a Thanksgiving dinner on the Friday after Thanksgiving. So it's like they're always invited. If we have their address, if we have their phone number, we kind of keep pulling them back into that community and letting them know, like, we are still here. We still love you.
Yeah.
Just because you kind of ran away from it, or we had to close your case because you weren't doing, your part, doesn't mean that we're not still here for you in a way like a community would be.
Yeah.
So we try to keep that going with them no matter what.
There was something that you said about pushing too hard and you're trying to find that balance. How do you set that expectation gap between what they're expecting, to occur versus what that you're going to be implementing or working with them about? Do you have consultations with them before they actually come on board and say, hey, this is what we're going to be doing? And okay, because I think that would be a lot just to spring on something.
Yes. So when they come into our program, we usually receive a referral either from them or from someone who works with them that says, hey, we've heard about your program. We think so-and-so would be really great for this. It'd be good for them. So we meet with them and just get to know them a little bit, talk to them about, like, do you understand what we are, what we do? And we share that all with them. We actually go through the curriculum and explain to them the building blocks. These are the things we're going to focus on. I try to give them a heads up as much as possible that, of course, when they, like, the first time you meet, they're like, I'm like, there may be days that you don't like me or you don't like what I have to say. They're like, no. I'm like, no, trust me.
Yeah.
There will, because there is that accountability and there is that, hey, you're not showing up, and you can't keep doing this. And so there's those tough conversations that you have to have. And you give so much grace and you give so much patience, and you try to navigate through how to keep them where they need to be meeting the requirements. But there does come points where we have to say to them, hey, we've tried to reach out to you. We've tried to let you know that, you've got to meet these requirements. One of our requirements is they have to be at therapy in person once a week. That's one of our requirements, because we know the value and the importance of that, given what they've been through. And so if they're not showing up for therapy, and they do that a couple of times, we need to have that tough talk that's like, hey, are you really serious about wanting to do this program? Because that's one of the requirements.
Right.
Again, if they're willing to receive that and say, yeah, you're right, I need to get back on track with that, and they have a desire and a willingness to work at it and get back on track, versus someone that's like, I don't want to go to therapy and you can't make me. Okay, well then why are you in this program?
Yeah,
like
fit.
Yeah, so there's just that. We try to be gracious, we try to be patient with them, but there also comes a time sometimes with them where it's like, we're going to kind of pump the brakes on this, and we're going to give you a break to really evaluate if you're ready to be committed to this. And then we kind of let the ball on it's their choices. It's their choices. One thing that we say is, like, the 3 shows, show up.
Yeah.
Show
I was going to ask you about that. Yes.
Yeah. Show up, show respect, and show effort. Yeah. And so it's one of those things where the first thing is you got to show up. No one's doing anything at the gym if they don't show up. You got to be respectful. I'm not going to work with you if you're being nasty, and because I'm not helping you. The reality of going out in life and treating and talking to people that way, I'm not doing you any good if I let you do that with me.
Right.
And so we try to just remind them that, like, you've got to be respectful. And we do courses and we do orientation on soft skills and just how to present yourself so that they have the tools. We're giving them the tools, and we're letting them know that they've got to use them, professionally, socially. This is the expectation. This is what's going to help you get further in life.
Yeah.
You might be able to do the job, the hard skills, but the soft skills are going to help you keep the job. If you treat people disrespectful, you probably won't be there long.
Hey, I need to take 2 seconds to interrupt this wonderful show that you're watching. I run a real estate business, and the way we fund this podcast is through that business, the Erica Rawls team. I would love it if you would just give us one opportunity to service your real estate needs, whether you are in Central PA or around the entire world. Think of us first so we can help you. Now back to the show.
So it's just all of that, but
Okay.
it really comes down to the effort that they put into it, and if they're being consistent. And sometimes that means they're leaving and coming back and leaving and coming back until they mature and they're like, these people are still here, they're not going anywhere. Then we work with them. We meet them where they're at and try to really work with them as they learn.
How many second chances do you give them? You give them all the way up to their 25, and then
it's kind of
I
like
love your grace.
Yeah,
like seriously.
But I think that they're. I mean, I go back to like, Jesus, right? Like Jesus has always been very gracious with me and on the chances, and still is when I mess up.
That is fair.
So
Yeah.
I think ultimately, like, how many chances have I received personally? So that's one thing. And then the second thing is sometimes it takes multiple chances. I mean, again, going back to that maturity and going back to even my own biological parents and how many chances,
Right.
how many times I got it wrong, how many times I was disrespectful, and got grounded, like how many times has that happened? And if there was a cutoff to like my parents saying like, okay, you did that 5 times, now there's the door. I mean, if they come back and they have a willingness to accept what they've done, and they're willing to do it the right way and to own, what they did or didn't do, and they're ready to do it, then we try to give them a chance. Because I think sometimes in foster care that can be the problem, is I think too many doors shutting on them and saying sorry.
Standards are so high that they can't even live up to the expectations, and then they fail. And then so they see you and they're just like, what do you mean? I get another chance? So
They're self-sabotage. They self-sabotage.
You are Grace. I love that. Yeah.
Well, it's necessary. It's necessary for these guys, and they're some of the strongest, most amazing people I've ever met. And they can change. I mean, you look at who you were when you were 18 and who you were when you were 25.
Drastically different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Things clicked a whole lot more in those years for me. And why? Because I did things on my own. I did stupid things on my own.
Right.
I made a lot of mistakes on my own. But there was someone consistently that was there that was saying, it's okay, let's try again.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of them self-sabotage things. We see that a lot when they're getting to a place where everything's coming together. It's like they run away and you're like, what? Like, you were just going to get a car and an apartment. And what do you mean you ran away with your friend?
Your success is huge.
Yes. It's too overwhelming, or they don't want us to be the ones saying goodbye and things come to an end. So it's navigating through a lot of that.
Yeah. So they want to be the one to break up because they feel as though it's coming.
Absolutely.
It's inevitable. It's happened all my life. So you know what?
I'm going to take
this.
it.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
So it's challenging. And, just like your own biological kids, each one of them are different. So it's really getting to know them and what works for them, what doesn't work for them, how to talk to them, how not to talk to them.
Yeah.
But I would say the seeds are planted at the crack pot. We don't always get to see the full outcome of the seeds that are planted, but we do know that for the time that the Lord brings them to us and we have an opportunity to work with them and love them and speak truth to them and show up for them, that hopefully, those seeds that were planted while they were there, somewhere down the road,
right,
there will be fruit there. Someone else will water them, and we don't always get to see the success, the full story with them.
Right.
Because some of them do leave and they don't give us their phone numbers, or they change phone numbers or whatever. We lose touch with them. But that's where we just have to pray that the seeds that are planted while they're with us will matter.
I'm sure at least one person is going to be interested in either serving or donating. So can you share like how someone can serve in your nonprofit or even at the coffee house, and also where they can actually donate?
Yeah, there is plenty of opportunities to serve from transportation volunteers. A lot of our kids don't have their licenses, so we're always looking for people to help, get them to different places and be a part of our transportation team. Working with just on the mission side of what we do, but a lot of times we're looking for people in the coffee shop that can help with baking or slicing strawberries or, coming in and wiping tables and running food out and filling coffees. And, even if it's a once a week or twice a month kind of thing, every little bit helps. And that's what we love is the Crack Pot gives people the opportunity to serve, and they're teenagers, that kind of thing. It's a great opportunity to serve in that way. So we're always looking for volunteers in the shop and in the mission. So they can visit our website and email our manager. The information's there. And then financially, we are always looking for and grateful for financial contributions that a lot of the money that people contribute to donate to the Crack Pot, it pays for their therapy. We pay for their therapy so that they don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Driving school, just odds and ends. If it's, prescriptions we got to pick up, or we had one of our girls just got a job the other day and we were running errands and she's like, I need slip-proof shoes and I start my job, like this weekend.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, we'll just zip in here. I know a place where they have slip-proof. So we were able to buy her shoes so that she has. So there's things like that help. There's sometimes kids are in crisis situations where they're in a very, very unsafe environment.
Yeah.
Or they're homeless, but they want to start fresh. They want a new beginning. And so we're able to kind of work with them and maybe even give them a hotel room for a couple of nights until they can get their feet under them and breathe a little bit and we can find
wonderful.
another. So there's a lot of ways that those donations help. And again, like I said earlier, having more funding so that we're able to bring in, another coach, someone that can kind of do what I'm doing and reach and serve more youth all at the same time would be huge. So yes, and yes. We're always looking for volunteers.
So do you have a monetary goal so you can hire someone? You better put it out there in the universe. You don't know who's going to get this.
I know. I mean, I would say it's, it's as a whole, it's, it's just the mission side of what we do and, the team that works with them. So there's volunteers, there's all of that. I mean, I don't know. You want like a goal of like just for that person?
Or just for whatever. Okay. Yes. Just goal, whatever is on your heart to say, hey, we're looking to raise X amount of dollars. Okay, y'all, she was not ready for this. Can you see her? She's squirming. She is a strong woman, and she does not want to ask, and I'm making her ask.
Yes. I mean, I would say, I'm just thinking of how, like if let's say 50,000. How about that?
Yes.
Does that sound good?
Yes, I love it.
50,000 would be an amazing blessing to our ministry.
Yeah.
Because I think we would be able to start seriously talking about bringing, another coach in and training them and doubling the amount of youth that we work with.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I love this. Okay, y'all. So we have a mission. So she would like to raise $50,000 so she can continue this great work at the Crack Pot where she helps children, I should say young adults that have aged out of place of foster care and adoption centers. And she's looking to get some support. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to have a link so that you can actually donate. And if you're looking to donate your time, I will actually make sure that you get the email address so you can actually donate your time as well. What I believe is making sure that you're working for a purpose. And the purpose that she has at the Crack Pot is indeed something that we all need to elevate and get exposure on because the children, the young adults, they actually need us. So Emily, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Not only today, but the coffee shop visit and all things.
Oh, we're not done.
We're not done.
No, we're not done. There's plenty much more coffee. Yes. So you guys, thank you so much. And until next time, I will see you. Hey, please make sure, do not forget to subscribe, to share this special message. And I cannot wait to see you in the comments.